Hi, JD here again. Firstly, thanks so much for your kind comments and emails after the last video when I was talking about how I financed my new Porsche 911 Carrera 4S. So I collected it on Monday. And what I want to do in this video is two things really. One, just show you a few pictures. I've given it a quick wash this morning, but I didn't bother filming that because, as I mentioned last time, I want to do kind of a few videos on detailing the car properly. There's a couple of different finishing polishes, kind of single stage correction type polishes that I want to test out on the car. One is Sonak's Perfect Finish, or Sonak's Perfect Finish. And the other one is Menzerna 3800, which is kind of a finishing polish, which I think you're kind of supposed to use after a cutting compound, but I'm just going to try them side by side. I think I'll probably do the whole car in Perfect Finish, but I thought it'd be quite a nice little side-by-side comparison to do as part of one of the videos. So a couple of pictures to show you, and then I just want to talk about something else, which is gap cover for older vehicles, which is something which I've discovered through buying this car. So here is the sorry, I keep getting text messages. Let's just get rid of that for a minute. Right, so the car, as I said, is a 2008 58 plate PDK 997 Carrera 4S in Basalt Black. I was a little bit concerned with it being in black because I'm sure some of you are aware metallic black looks beautiful if it's finished and detailed properly. If it's not, it can be an absolute nightmare, especially when the sun hits it. It can be prone to severe marring and swirl marks and all sorts of things. But actually, I've given it a quick wash this morning and I'm quite impressed. The dealer has resprayed the front bumper and the front wings and the bonnet, I think. And actually the whole car looks pretty good. Let me just show you a picture. So this is the car after I kind of give it a pressure wash and a wash this morning. And the sun's out and it's not actually that bad. There is some slight scratches going on. It will benefit from a polish, but actually it's not that bad at all. It's a very nice looking car. Here is one from the front, and here is from the back. You can actually see on here there is a little bit of scratching going on. Now it looks perfectly fine and most people probably wouldn't bother with it, but I do want it to look even better than it does at the moment. You can see that the car's got the optional sports exhaust on by these tailpipes. That sounds really nice. I'll give you a bit of a demo of that in a few weeks time. It's got the Carrera 2 wheels on. You can see those. That's fine. There we go. It's got the Carrera 2 wheels. They've refurbished all the wheels. It's had two new front tyres and it's had replacement, I think, colour centre caps as well. And nice that they've actually put them on in the right position. You can see the pointy bit always should point to the valve, which is a little bit OCD, but apparently that's what's supposed to be done and that's what they've done, which is nice. I've given the inside a full detail today. I've cleaned all the leather. Obviously on this kind of car you do get a lot of leather. I don't know whether it was an option or not. It certainly was on my Cayman, I didn't have it. But on this car you can see it's got the leather dash, it's got the leather down the side of the PCM system, obviously leather seats, and I've given all of this a treatment with some Dr. Leather wipes. They always seem to work really well. So the inside's looking quite nice. I've cleaned all the glass inside. So there's just a very quick overview. Obviously this isn't what this video is about, but I just wanted to prove that I have got the car. And some of you have already sent me some nice comments about it. So that's nice, really appreciate that. The thing I want to talk about today is back onto a finance topic, and that is gap cover for older vehicles. Now, I'm a big advocate of gap cover. I've done a video on gap cover. I'll put a link up to it here for you to watch. So I'm not going to go into what gap cover actually is, but one thing which I kind of didn't realise is that most gap companies that I found online, and I might be wrong, there might be many others that don't stick to these kind of rules, but certainly the ones that I've used in the past, I've used Click for Gap, Direct Gap, gapinsurance.co.uk. A lot of them will only provide a gap cover for vehicles 7 years or younger. Some of them might even be younger than that. Now obviously this car is over 10 years old, so I didn't think I'd be able to get gap cover for it. And interestingly, obviously dealers, when you buy a car, will always try and sell you the optional extras, including gap cover. They couldn't even offer me gap cover. They didn't even bother trying to sell it me because they couldn't get a gap cover policy for it. I found another one which I thought would fulfill my needs, and that was with a company called ALA. Now ALA will cover you with cars of 10 years or younger. Now before this particular car, I was looking at a 2009 Carrera 4S, and so for that car I could have got gap cover. But then I realised, actually, hang on a minute, this car is 10 and a bit years old. It's an October 2008 car, and we're currently in February 2019. So actually, I'd ruled it out. I thought I'm not going to be able to get gap cover for this age of car, which is a shame because it's still a high value car and it's still very desirable. However, I came across this company called shortfall.co.uk, and I should say I'm not endorsed. They don't know who I am. You know, this channel's not big enough to get any kind of paid sponsorship. So this is just, you know, I'm just recommending this because it's something that fulfilled my needs and it might do for you too. They will offer gap cover on cars providing that they've got 80,000 miles or less on the clock. This my Carrera 4S has got 63, so that's fine. And you have to have bought the car from a main dealer rather than a private sale, which I did. So the nice thing is I went to Shortfall, and for this car, which is over 10 years old, I was able to get a 4-year gap policy, return to invoice, with a £30,000 claim limit for about, I think it was just under £230, which I thought was phenomenal. So if you're looking at an older car, providing it's got less than 80,000 miles on, if it's more than 10 years old, shortfall.co.uk is certainly one I would recommend looking at. ALA, let's just have a look at ALA. As I say, these will cover cars up to 10 years old. I think they're a little bit more expensive than Shortfall, but that's another one to look at if you're trying to get gap cover for an older car. Oh, I've just remembered something. The nice thing about Shortfall as well is gap cover, as well as paying the difference between what your insurance company offers to pay on the settlement if the car's written off. As well as that, gap cover policies will usually give a contribution towards any insurance excess. And often it's £250. So if your excess is £500, obviously your insurance company will pay out less that £500. The gap policy will contribute £250 back to that, so you're not as worse off. The nice thing about Shortfall is that they will actually contribute up to £750 excess. Now my excess on this car I think is about £550, so God forbid if this car ever gets written off or stolen, my entire insurance excess will be covered, as well as any difference between the value of the car and what the the invoice price of the car and what the value of the car is at that point. So really recommend this. I'm really pleased that I managed to find a company that would offer me gap cover on such an old car. Thanks for watching as usual. Please comment and subscribe. Please email me. I'd love to hear from you. I'll put a link up to the spreadsheet looking at my monitor if anyone wants to email me for a copy of that too. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.